Hello guys, welcome back. Today in this video we'll be doing pandas. We'll understand pandas from beginner to advanced level, we'll code it, we'll see what are the real life applications of pandas. Basically, you have heard that pandas is a Python library. But what is the library used for? We have seen in the previous video that NumPy is also a library of Python, and we understood that how NumPy is used inside the real life situations. How and what does this library do? Same way, Panda is also a type of library, a Python library for structured data analysis. What does that mean? It means it helps you work with tables or CSV files, Excel sheets, database. So such things are being present. For example, imagine you are working in a company like e-commerce company. I mean, like Amazon. Just take an example of Amazon. So we have a data set, right? They have data set regarding the customers, the users, the product they have purchased. So every information is stored in a database, and they provide you, you are an AI engineer, you are an AIML engineer, you are a data scientist, whatever the role may be. They provide you the data set and they ask you to train a model, do XYZ work. So when they give the data set, it will be either in the CSV file, either in the Excel sheets or SQL database. Such data you will receive, right? So when you have plenty of data, you have to analyze it, you have to structure it properly, you need to give it a proper shape. Without that you can't use. Imagine pandas is like a Excel in Python. Okay, we have Excel spreadsheet, right? You have rows, columns. So in the same way, Panda is also a library which is storing the data in form of rows and column. That's all, simple. I hope you understood the basic example which I have given. As I said, so if there is 10 lakh rows, for example, they have given you sales data. Okay, that data is having 10 lakh rows. Imagine 10 lakh rows. It is in messy form, it is in .csv file, and there are missing values. For example, if any person doesn't enter their salary, the salary section for that particular person is null. That means nothing is present inside that value. So missing values are present, need grouping, filtering. So when all this has to be done, you can't do it in basic Excel sheet. As I said, pandas is like a Excel sheet. When you have Excel sheet, why pandas? Of course, that is the question which you have to get that question. So why not Excel? Because it is very slow, and manually you can't go and change 10 lakh rows, right? Or you can't filter, you can't see, you manually can't sit and watch which row, a particular row is empty, what you have to do. You can't do it manually for 10 lakh or even maybe 20 lakh rows of data. So for that you can't manually rely on that. It is very slow, it is repetitive, or it might crash also. So you can't do. Some people might say, why can't we do using loops? Okay, without pandas, why can't we just use for loop to do for till 10 lakh? If you give for till range 10 lakh, it is easy, right? You might say, but it is not easy as we say. It is very complicated logic. And loop also, if you run till 10 lakh, we don't have guarantee that it might change all the data. Like for example, missing values are present, it has to go. For example, there is a column with age and column with salary. You need to do, for you have to run the for loop for both the salary as well as age for 10 lakh. It might, you can't just imagine the load, the workload for the computer is also very huge in that case. Therefore we don't particularly use Excel sheet or loops for that particular case. Therefore we have this library called pandas. Pandas is also built on NumPy arrays itself. It is very faster than normal Python list or for loops or even the normal Excel sheets. It is very memory efficient, it takes very less memory also. And pandas is usually used by data analyst, data scientist, ML engineer, business analyst, finance analytics, marketing analytics. So everybody currently in corporate word they use pandas for this reason. Fine. Now let us see the next topic, that is what is pandas. Yeah, we have seen this Python library for tabular data analysis and work like Excel inside Python, used in data science, ML, business analytics, fast, powerful, built on NumPy. Our next topic is series and data frame. What is series and data frame? Series and data frames are, think like they are the data structures of pandas. Okay, we have data structures like array, stack, queue, right? So the same way panda is also having the data structure called series and data frame. Series, first I'll explain you everything theoretically regarding this topic and then we shall jump into the code. So series is like a 1D labeled array. That means single array, one single array, one single row, that's all. But when you see the data frame, it is 2D, that is row plus columns both. And in series it is having only the index plus value. For example, index is 0, it starts from 0 1 2 3, and the value might be, for example, name. For we have the number of names, that is what the series is like. But when you see the data frame is a 2D. Just like Excel sheet, we have rows, we have columns, we have a not complete table where we give name, age. So such things are being given. Just like Excel sheet, our data frame is present, and most real world data uses the data frame itself, and foundation for all the pandas operation. Data frame and series are the foundation of all the pandas operation. And to open Jupyter Labs, if anybody is having confusion, I'll just clear that. First, you need to make the directory, that is the folder. For example, you have to do mkdir and the folder name. I'm taking the folder name as AI. This is already existing in my laptop, therefore it will show it is already existing. See, the subdirectory or the file AI already exists. So when you don't have such files, it will directly create it. But when you have it, it will show like this. And later, after this command, you will just write cd AI. It will get into inside your folder called AI, and then you will use Jupyter Lab with space. So when you do this, it will redirect you to the Jupyter page. So wait to load. Yeah, here you could see it, right? So here when you click on this plus icon, you will come into this Python 3 and you'll get the file. You can rename also. Here you have a rename option. I'll just rename this to pandas. Fine. So this is what. So basically, if you're not using Anaconda, you need to install this pandas. Okay. So for that you are using pip install pandas. So for those who are not using uh, Anaconda, you need to use this command to install. If you are using VS Code, you will do this in terminal. So Anaconda is something which is already having the built-in libraries. Therefore, I said you to use Anaconda, so that you don't need to install everything again and again. So if you're using Anaconda, you can directly start. But if you're not using Anaconda, please install it and then proceed. So yeah, so whenever you have to start with pandas, right, you need to import. We have seen this in the NumPy also, that we have imported it. So you will import pandas as PD. Just like there we did NP, right? We are using here PD. You can do anything. And the plus icon to add the cell. So now let's do for the series. What is the series? As I said, it is a 1D array. So you will just do that. For example, I'll take marks, a student's marks. Okay, I'll take the variable name as marks, and we will use this syntax, that is pd dot series. When you have to do series, you will do this pd dot series, and inside that you will declare the marks. For example, 56, 87, 64. So these are the marks of 3 students. So when you print this, print marks, here you go, and I'll just run this. First you need to run this, and then this, it will print the marks. So this is like 1D, right? It is only having only one column. This are the indices will be present in every table. So this it is something default, and the marks is something which you passed, and the data type is int. This is the series. Okay, this is a series. As I said, it is a 1D. And when we see the data frame is just like the Excel sheet. So when you have the columns like name, age, salary, everything will be displayed in the form of table. Let us see that. So I'll take a variable data, and here I'll just pass name. For example, I'll take Ram, and then Sam. So for now, as of now, I'll take 2 people, and then you'll separate it with comma, and then I'll take age. Age also will be in the form of integer 24, 23, and you will close it with flower bracket. And then here what I'll do is I'll take variable df. Inside that I'll do pd dot data frame. D and F has to be in capital, and inside that will pass data, and you'll print the variable df because our data frame is stored inside df. I hope you understood this. So this is the data. If you don't want to remember this, it's fine, because we will be using files for this. We will not manually create this data set, so just ignore this. But you need to understand this, that is pd.dataframe. As we did here pd.series. For series, same way we do pd.dataframe for data frame. I'll store it inside the variable called df, and inside this will pass this data. And when you print this, we'll get the table. So this is the table which we got, that is name, age. These are the index, and this is the names and the age. Just like Excel sheet, okay? When you add this if the number of names and ages increased, the table is also increased. This is all about data frame. I hope you understood how does this work. And I said you one that we don't usually create the data manually like this. Then what we do is we load the files. As I said, Amazon gives you their already present data, the user's data. So you don't need to sit and do or type the data manually. So when you get the file of data, you'll just load it. For example, here I have a sales.csv. This is my data set which we have taken. So using this only we will do. Okay, it is in the form of table, just like spreadsheet. So if you are wondering how do we load that inside folder, is go ask ChatGPT for some random data like sales. It will get you, take around 100, and then just copy that, plus on this click on this plus sign, and then you'll go to this text file. What you'll do is you'll just rename this into sales, and then here text also you'll change it to CSV. Click on enter and then paste it here. Okay, for now, as we already have that file, it will not create. So for now I'll just remove this moto trash and delete it. Okay, I hope you have done this. Go to ChatGPT, take some random sample data, create sales.csv or whichever file you want. You can just do that and copy paste it. That's all, simple, right? So now let us see how do we load that. I need to use this sales.csv. So for that we have to load it. How do we load that? We do that as pd.read CSV, and we have to pass the file name. So here it is sales.csv. Okay, and if you want to check whether it is loaded, you can print it. So to print, you have to pass it into a variable, and then you will print that. That is print df. So this is the data. So it will start from 0 and end at 99. I have order ID, name, age, department, region, product quality, price and salary. So we have 100 into 9, that is 100 rows and 9 columns. So this is how we load. reading data files, that is load external data into pandas. As we did read.csv, we can do the same thing for read excel or read json, whichever the type of file they provide you in the companies. Like if they provide you excel, if they provide json, whichever the format may be, you can just change it from read CSV to read Excel or read JSON. So this is a very first step you do in every project, that you need to read the data first. Okay. After reading the data, this next step will be the exploring data. So you don't jump into doing projects directly. Okay. First you need to explore it, understand it, what the data set is provided. You must know the rows count, columns, whichever missing data is present, or the types, and everything you need to know regarding the data set. So why do we explore it? Because we don't jump into wrong conclusions, right? So we should not do that. You need to understand what the data is given. So we first explore it. So how do we explore it? How do we understand the data? Is we have different functions like head, tail, shape, info, describe, d types. So all these functions will help us to understand it better. So for that we will code. So I'll just show you one. Print sales dot head. So let's do that. Okay, we have stored it in df, right? So we have to use df. We will do print df dot head. See, what does this head do is, it will give us the first 5 rows. Okay, 1 2 0 1 2 3 4. So it will provide us the first 5 rows, which is having the order id, name, age, department, everything will be given for the first. The same way you can do it for here tail. When you use tail, it will give the last 5. Okay, this is how the last 5 rows is fetched. And next you can see the shape. What is this shape is, it will give you the rows and columns. And here, see, here we have used like open bracket, close bracket like function, but you're not doing this for the shape. Okay, you will just pass df dot shape. This is it, gives us 100 comma 9. That 100 is the number of rows and 9 is the number of column. And when you see the info is nothing but it will provide the information like what is the, see here it is given class is pandas, core frame, data frame, range is 100 entries to 0 to 99, columns 9 columns, all these are given, all are non-null, everything it has given. Okay, this is a basic information what does the table have. And next our function is describe. Describes will give the information like mean, count, see here, mean, count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, the percentage like 25%, 50%, 75%, and the max. So the count is 100 counts are present, and age 99, because somewhere there might be some null value, even in the salary also 99, somewhere there might be null value. So it is given like this. This is the describe, like what the description about the CSV file is present. This is all about the exploring data. And the next concept is selecting data. What is selecting data? Select columns, select multiple columns, or row slicing, which means here we have fetched top 5 rows, bottom 5 rows. But when you have to select particular column, for example, you are asked to do something like you have to train some ML model, and for that model you just only need name and their age. You don't require their salary, you don't need their order ID, you don't need their region. So all these are the unnecessary features for the model which you're going to train. You just only need the name and age. Okay, so for that you need only that 2 particular columns, right? You don't need the other columns. Instead of loading all the data, you just take only those 2 rows, because you are making efficient, you are making the computer understand the data efficiently. You are not feeding it unnecessary values. Therefore we select data. It might be in the form of column or it might be in the rows. Let us see all this in the code. So how do you select this? You will print same thing, that is print df. For example, if I have to print only the names, okay, open, close bracket. Is it wait, let us see what names. Only name, I have given it as names. See, variable mistake. See, when I do this, it will give the column of only name, that is Arav, Ananya, Rohan. Is it same? Let's check. Arav, Ananya, Rohan. Yes. So it will give all the names which is present in that particular column. This is how you fetch a particular column. But if you have to fetch two or more column, what do you do? Simple. You'll just separate it with comma and I'll give the age. Is age mentioned? Yes, age is mentioned and you will pass it age. For this you will have an extra bracket closed, okay. See, name and age, 100 into 2 columns. This is how selecting particular columns are being done. You just need to pass their column name. And if you have to select a particular row, I hope you know what is slicing, because in the last lectures we have seen slicing, right? So slicing is where we are getting only the particular tuple, particular rows. Same thing we do in the pandas also. So where you have to just pass it as df, and if you start from 0 to 6 for example, you will just print this. And you're going to run. See, it will give the particular rows from 0 to 6, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So from 0 to 6 it will give us the rows. This is how slicing work. I already showed you. If you don't pass, for example, if I don't pass, if I start from 98 and I don't pass anything here, which means it will assume that I have to print from 98 to the last row. So therefore I get 98 and 99. This is how slicing works. I hope you understood this. Next topic is lock versus iLock. What is this lock versus iLock? Lock is nothing but labeled based selection and iLock is position based selection. For example, you know how to fetch particular columns and particular rows, but you need someone's name. For example, if I say 0 comma 1, like matrix, you say 0 comma 1, you have some number there. So same way, when you have to fetch from one column and from one row, you will be using this lock, that is the label based. Okay, we use it using lock. You will pass the row value and the column value. When you pass that particular element or value will be returned. That is what the lock is. So what is iLock is? iLock is a position based, and here also you pass row position and column position to get. So if you have any confusions, let us see through the code, okay, and then I'll explain you the theory. So first we'll do with the lock. What you will do is print df.lock. This is what you will do. Inside that you will pass, for example, I'll pass 1 comma name. What is this means? See, 1 is my row. 1 is my row and name. Inside name. So 1 and name. What has to be printed? It has to print. One second. What's wrong? That is the variable name. Guys, please look into the names. See, 1 row, name is the column. What I have to get? I have to get Ananya. Did I get the Ananya? Yes. This is how you get it from lock. You will pass the row, you will pass the column. And if you have to pass the multiple, for example, you need to know the Ananya and her age. So what you will do? You will just pass it here with separated with comma. So this is age. As I said, if you have multiple things, you will separate it with brackets. And when you run this, why there is error again? Okay, 1 second. We will pass it from here. That is, you will separate it from 1. Okay. So you got name Ananya and age 28. But if you have to get 2 more people, like maybe from 0 to 5, see, you will get from 0 to 5 Arav, Ananya, Rohan and their particular ages. So for multiple people, for multiple columns also, you just declare it with separated brackets. This is very important. I hope you understood the lock. Now let us see iLock. First I'll just show you one example. Okay. Print df dot iLock 1, 0. So what is 1, 0? Again it is row and column. Here one is this and order ID is 0. So you have to get the output as 2. Let us see. You got 2. What was the difference between lock and iLock is, here I'll just undo this. Here we did name and name, right? When you print this, you'll get Ananya. What we passed here is 1 and name. We passed this, that is the index value and the column value. But here, when you don't know the column values like order ID, name, age, but you know their position, we'll declare order ID as 0, this as 1, this as 2. So when you do this thing, you will use iLock. So based on the position, we'll do this. So if you have to print Ananya back, what you'll do? You'll just change it to 1, 1. And now if I run, I'll get answer as Ananya only. So I hope you can see the difference. So for lock, we will pass the label base, that is the label. What the label is given? Name. But when you don't know the label, you know the position. For that, we will use iLock. This is a simple difference between lock and iLock, and it is most interview asked questions. So I hope you need to understand this better. Whenever you say in interview, like I know Pandas, they directly go into lock and iLock difference. So this is what you need to know between lock and iLock. So even in the iLock also you can pass like multiple values. For example, here what we did from 1 to 5 and we printed age, right? So same way for here also you will do 1 to 3 for example, and here also you will just pass it 1 to 6. And if you run, you will get name, age, department, region and product, and you will get 2 people's row. This is iLock and lock. Yeah. Next we will see filtering. What is filtering is, for example, you have seen SQL. Okay, I hope you know what is SQL. In SQL, what we used to do is we used to filter. For example, yeah, here we have, if salary is greater than 50, you will give some condition. If salary is greater than 50, you promote them. That is what we'll do in SQL. Okay. Same way, same thing we will be doing even in Pandas. In Pandas also we can satisfy any conditions. For example, here also we will use df, there will say that salary is greater than 50 and you can use any condition. How do we do that? Let us show with an example. For example, if I have to print people with age greater than 50. Okay, so what I'll do, print df, again I'll open the bracket df, inside this will pass age, close it, greater than 50. Okay, so it has to give the people who are whose age is greater than 50. So Ashok is 52, Rajiv is 51 and Balaji is 53. But when you have multiple condition, you can use and or condition. Like for example, here I'll use age is greater than 50 and I'll pass salary is also greater than 95,000. Here we'll change the brackets. I'll open the bracket here. Here it is closed, right? Yeah. Here we don't require the bracket. And after this, we can close the bracket. Yeah. Yes. So now I've given the condition that age has to be greater than 50 and salary has to be greater than 95,000. So this Rajiv has to be eliminated and only Ashok and Balaji has to be displayed. Okay. Let us see. Yeah. See now Ashok and Balaji both rows are being displayed. If I use or operation instead of and, that is if the age has to be greater than 50 or their salary has to be greater than 95,000. So when you do that, we get 4 people, that is Ashok. Age is greater than 50 and also his salary is also greater. Fine. Ashok is satisfying both. Fine. See Krishna's age is 50, which is not greater than 50. So age is not satisfied. But his salary is greater than 95,000. Therefore, his name is present here. And next is Rajiv, age is greater than 51, but salary is not greater than 95. Only age is greater than 51. Therefore, it comes because we are using or operation. Either this can be true or this can be true. Any one can be true. Therefore, we have got Rajiv and Balaji also, both conditions have been satisfied. So this is how you can use this functions just like SQL. So here it is mentioned that multiple condition using and or. Fine. Our next topic will be missing data handling. So as I said, in some conditions there might be some missing values. For example, if somebody is not unable or if they are not interested in revealing their gender, they just leave it empty and fill the form and submit, which is not required. They don't want to. So when they don't fill that gender, what happens is in their particular row, gender is nothing. It is nothing. It is null. It is empty. So in such condition, when you have to train the model, it is difficult because model might not get why it is empty, or there might go some issues might happen. So such things will happen. So therefore you need to handle those missing data. You need to do something so that you don't have missing values in the data set. So for that we will see. So for now let us see my CSV file. So here where you can see empty, see here Isha didn't enter her age, therefore it is empty here. And where else is empty? Here you can see Ajay didn't enter his salary. So these are the missing values. How do you handle this? Let us see now. So just what you will do is, we will use isnull, dropna, fillna, forward fill or backward fill. Let us see what all this will do. So this is for null condition. This is dropping the row if it is null, or instead of dropping you can fill it also, or forward fill, backward fill. Let us see what is this. So now we'll just print df dot isnull. So isnull is like is empty, boolean. So same way it will give in form of true or false. For now it has given false because the middle values are not displayed here. So other everything is false. So here it will true is coming. It is not displayed here. If you want to check, you can do using sum, that is you can do dot sum. See here, when you do sum, order ID is 0, name is 0, but in the age, Isha's age was not given, right? So therefore age is 1, and Ajay's salary was also empty, therefore it is showing 1. This is also another way if you have to say the missing. And next is drop NA. So when you have to do drop NA, you can just do it using df dot drop NA. So what it will do is, it will drop those rows, that is Isha's row and Ajay's row will be dropped. So when it is dropped, 100 row is reduced to 98 rows. This is how drop NA works. And when you have to do with fill NA, so first let us see Isha's row, print df dot log 11 comma age. Our index was 11 and age was nothing, it was empty, so it has to give us NaN. So it is giving NaN. So when you have to do print fill NA, you will just do print df dot fill NA 0. That is, you are filling the empty thing with 0. So when you print, it will be changed into 0 over here, which is not visible. When we perform this operations like drop NA, fill NA, it will never affect the real data set. So when I have changed this into 0, or if I have dropped here, 2 rows are dropped, but it is never removed from our CSV file. See, still Isha is still present, Ajay is also still present. Where is Ajay? See here, Ajay is also still present. Whatever operations we perform, nothing is affected to the real data set. It is creating the temporary thing so that we perform here for training the model. Okay, we are doing temporary things. So directly we are not changing the data set. Fine. This is how the fill NA work. Next is forward fill. Forward fill is used in time series data. Okay. For example, in real life, like sales revenue, when we fill it, it will give us the in place, which means it fills the empty value with the average value. For example, here Isha's age was nothing, it was NaN. So when we have to fill with the average age, we'll take the average of all these 100 people age, we'll add it and divide it by 100. So that value we will give it to Isha. Average age value will be given to Isha, and even the salary also, average salary will be given to Ajay's salary. So that's what we'll perform here. See, we'll declare df salary. So for salary, what we will do is df salary dot fill NA and df salary dot median. This is median, means we are taking the average. So this average will be given to this df salary. So this is how we perform it. Yeah, when you perform this, obviously it will be changed. This is nothing but the converting. I mean, if there is any missing value, we will fill like this. And as mentioned, for the forward fill, we'll do it as df dot fill NA. We'll use fill NA, and method we will give it as ffill, that is forward fill. What is forward fill means? It will copy the above value. For example, in this CSV file, Isha's age is empty, right? So what we will do? For Isha's age, we will copy the forward value, that is the above value. We will give Rahul's age to Isha age. This is forward fill. And the same way, the opposite way of forward fill is backward fill. We will give we'll copy the below value to the empty value. Okay. So we can write it here same way. We can just copy this and then change it to, method will be changed to bfill, that is backward fill. I hope you understood forward fill, backward fill, fill NA, drop NA. Everything is completed. Is null also. And there are few more concepts to be covered in Pandas. All are small concepts. So we'll be completing those concepts in the part 2 video. Thank you guys. After completing this video, go watch part 2 video.